Good morning, viewers and listeners out there. Another entry into the series of the British Business Podcast. And today we're in the Steam House in Birmingham. The British Business Podcast is delighted that Nilofer has joined us today from ENKI Towels. Morning, Nilofer.
Good morning, Michael.
How are you?
Really good. How are you?
Fantastic, thank you. So I'd like to ask straight away, ENKI Towels. What does ENKI Towels mean? What is it, a brand?
ENKI Towels is a brand, yes. ENKI Towels basically is an eco-friendly, disposable, single-use towel. It's a product that we decided to introduce into our business approximately 7 years ago. We decided that we wanted to change a little bit of the direction that our business was going into. Just to give you a little bit of background, my husband is from a textile manufacturing background. We decided we wanted to move our business back into the UK. So we established our company just over 20 years ago. We were initially agents, importing on behalf of other retailers and wholesalers. We then decided approximately around 2002 to diversify our business a little bit. And we moved into selling towels, bed linen, other sort of home textiles and soft furnishings into the care home sector, into hotels and hospitality. We did that for a rather long time and, we did really well at it. And then around 2015, we decided we wanted to do something a little bit different. An opportunity arose that allowed us to investigate single-use disposable towels. So obviously, over time, it's become a lot more of a popular product. It's quite an unknown product, but nevertheless, we decided to move forward with it. We trademarked the name, so ENKI Towels is the name under which we trade.
So that's ENKI.
That's correct,
towels,
yes.
As a separate word.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we predominantly sell towels into hair salons, beauty salons, the hospitality sector, therapy clinics, basically anywhere that will use a towel.
So, disposable towels for the hairdressers, beauticians market.
Yes.
So you targeted that area with the ability to try to sell into that market.
Yes.
Did you do any research prior to the going into that market, or did you think this is a good time to do this? What was the rationale behind that?
The rationale behind it was, historically, hair salons spend a vast amount of money laundering towels. It's obviously an essential tool in doing somebody's hair. And we acknowledged the fact that most hair salons were laundering the towels themselves. It meant having to have a staff member dedicated to that. And it was just a hassle that nobody really wanted. So when we became aware of disposable towels, we thought it would be a wonderful thing to be able to offer hair salons for a multitude of reasons, not just the cost benefits. I mean, if I give you a bit of an example, typically it costs approximately 28 pence to launder a towel. That's purely...
One time?
Yeah, just one towel just to wash it. That doesn't include all the other things that come with that, like the costs of your machine, the costs of your staff to actually physically be loading and unloading and folding. It doesn't include the cost of your detergent, and it also doesn't include the cost of the actual towel itself. So that's quite a big outlay for any business to have.
What about electricity?
Oh, that's, in the current climate, that has been exacerbated absolutely hugely. 28p is the cost based on last year's energy prices.
So that has to go up.
Oh, it's going to go up exponentially. It's going to create real pain for businesses out there. So this product just further reinforces how smart it is to actually convert to using this kind of a product.
So let me get this right. So if I'm a salon owner and I have 100 towels and I use those in any given day, you're saying that 100 times 28 pence or more now because of the electricity
absolutely.
prices.
And that's a very conservative estimation. And, if you were to even outsource, say, so you didn't have to worry about getting a machine yourself or worrying about your staff cost, it's, probably the cheapest you would find it would be 40p with a commercial laundry.
Wow.
So, which is even, it may sound more, but obviously you don't have the on cost of your machines and your staffing. One other good thing about commercial laundries also is they have commercial machines which can thermally disinfect the towels, meaning it will get rid of all the microbes or any dirt from the towel. Quite strangely, an awful lot of salons use domestic washing machines, and a lot of people don't realise.
Mums, dads,
absolutely.
sisters,
Yeah.
or their own even.
Absolutely. You know, whether they launder them in a domestic washing machine in the salon or at home, the end result is the same. You do not come out with a clean towel.
So the term there, a business term, is false economy.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I think one of the difficulties is most people aren't able to identify the cost to launder a towel because it's embedded within the running of your business. So you don't necessarily look at exactly how much it costs you to run your washing machine or to run your dryer or to actually sit down and acknowledge how much time your staff are spending folding towels and, you know, getting them ready for use. It's almost like a hidden activity that's extremely underestimated.
So today will be a real education for people who are in that industry to understand, A, have a look at your costs, have a look at the processes, have a look at the time, and have a look at the downtime for staff.
Absolutely.
Versus, and here where what I'd like to do is explore and understand more about that solution then. So what is it that you provide?
We basically provide the towels. So we provide a salon with a safe also alternative because they're single use, so they've never been used before. One of the other tremendous benefits of using a single use towel is there's no cross-contamination. So between client to client, even if you wash something and it isn't properly clean, you potentially are passing something on to your next client. You're potentially passing something on to your staff member who obviously is handling the towel. So this completely eradicates that. We're also, you know, able to tell people that it saves a huge amount on storage. I mean, if you imagine 50 towels folded up, you're going to have a couple of piles, maybe this big. Disposable towels, 50, takes up about that much space. So from a space-saving point of view, it's perfect.
And what about the customer experience? Does that change at all?
Probably, if I'm being brutally honest, a customer should be encouraged to feel the benefit of having a hygienic towel.
Sure.
And in the current climate where infection control needs to be really robust, that should be the focal point. Conventional cotton towels, obviously, they feel thicker. There's something nice about snuggling up to sort of a towel. But the reality is you're probably snuggling up to a towel that isn't actually that clean.
Wow.
Don't really know where it's been. So a disposable towel, it's a new experience every time. You're giving your customers that safe knowledge that you value them.
Sure.
You're interested in their health, you're interested in promoting good hygiene, and also demonstrating to them that you care about them by wanting to use products of this nature.
Whilst we're right in the meat of this podcast, can you just give the website address and how people would contact you so that they know at this early stage in the podcast who it is that they're trying to get hold of?
So our website is www.enkitowels.com. You can order online, or you can pick up the phone and speak to one of our wonderful team who'll guide you and help you in any way that you want.
Fantastic.
So it's really simple.
If I can take you back to March 2020, and that awful time for most people in the world. We've just had a gentleman on in the last podcast who said actually his business grew the moment the pandemic hit. What happened with your business?
Honestly, when the lockdown first happened, it felt like our business had fallen off a cliff because a huge proportion of our customer base was locked down. Hair salons were closed, beauty salons were closed, or just everything. Hotels were closed. So if I'm honest, it was actually a really, really worrying time. And we had two priorities. A, sustaining our business, and B, making sure that we actually looked after and safeguarded our staff team, that they were very important to us. So it was really difficult in the early days. And the lockdowns went on for quite some time. One thing the pandemic did do, which you could say was a positive, if I dare, is that it did highlight the need for robust infection control procedures. So it heightened everybody's awareness to it. And longer term, yes, we have gained more customers as a result of that, but it's been a hard 2 years to get there. And, you know, more and more people have become educated in the virtues of disposable towels. Just as, I mean, it's not a bonus, it is a feature of the product, but the product is also extremely eco-friendly. It's made from 100% plant fibre, so it's biodegradable, it's compostable, it's not in any way harmful to the environment. There are some other disposable products out there that contain polyester, which obviously when they're disposed of, that obviously leads to more microplastics getting into our ecosystems. So at least I'm happy to say that our product doesn't contribute towards that. But yeah, it's good to have an environmentally friendly product that is in some way trying to safeguard our planet for us and for future generations.
That's an amazing insight into the pandemic, how it affected you right at the beginning, and immediately 2 clear strategies for the vision for the company to make sure you were still here after the pandemic, because we didn't know that it was going to end.
No, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've been in business for more than 20 years, so we're not new to the textile industry at all. But it shook us to the core, and it really was really frightening not knowing. And even as we were coming out of the lockdowns, we still didn't know what the future was going to hold, because we went into lockdown again. And as with all things, we did gain some customers because of the infection control side, but like everything, as the pandemic seemed to sort of appear to dissipate, people go back to their usual habits as well. So that's also worrying, because you're trying to build a business and actually the goalposts keep moving all the time. So it was just a constant challenge to keep going, I guess.
And what does the future look like for ENKI?
I think the future does look brighter now. I think more and more people understand the need to actually safeguard themselves, their businesses, their staff team. So people are perhaps a little bit more on board. I think one of the biggest challenges that we face as a business is trying to educate people to the fact that disposable towels are actually a cost-effective alternative. That's probably the hardest thing to get across. Because it's a disposable item, I think people think it's sort of something that's expensive because they're constantly spending money, potentially buying towels. They think, oh my God, I'm spending so much money all the time. But they're not realising that by spending the money there, they're not spending the money somewhere else. And that's probably our hardest thing to get across to people, to actually seriously understand. I mean, we have instances where we'll say to people, you're going to be able to eradicate your laundry in your salon. And people will sometimes say to us, it's not a real problem for us. We take them home. And, or my mum does them, a family member does them. It is a false economy, because the reality is somebody's picking up the tab, whether it's your business, whether it's your mum, whether it's you personally. It still costs money to do that, however you do it. Self-laundering, commercial laundry, there's no escaping the fact it costs money.
And at some point, it's going to actually speed up.
Absolutely.
The capital expenditure that you're going to have to find for a new washing machine.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a real undetermined thing. Nobody can ever predict how long your washer is going to last. Are you going to have breakdowns regularly? How your staff potentially use those machines? It's all undetermined. But
something that I found really interesting a couple of weeks ago, I was watching the news and I was understanding about how the planet has been impacted. I think it said something like 77% of all species had disappeared. And so when I look at that and I look at things like sustainability solutions for businesses, for anything that we do, things on a day-to-day basis, if nothing else, that has to be a area that people need to think about and look for, because this is not going away. It's only getting worse.
Absolutely not. I mean, sustainability is incredibly underrated, and it's just not talked about enough. Everybody hears about it and we go, oh, we're sustainable, and everyone thinks, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. But then everybody goes about their normal day and just carries on doing what they're doing normally. Yeah. And somewhere along the line, all of us have got to take some responsibility and think, okay, what can we do better? And I'm a real believer in baby steps. I think sometimes you don't have to do huge, massive things to make a big change. I think you can do little things that keep growing and educate more people, and the more people get on board. And it's quite infectious then. Once you start doing something, it makes you kind of want to do more, and it makes you feel good, you know, knowing that we're doing something nice, we're trying to save our planet, and sending that message out to our children and grandchildren and future generations that actually it's important. If we carry on going the way we're going, there isn't going to be a planet left for us to, you know, live in, and for future generations too. So we all need to wake up and do something.
So that is a big, big strategic move, and something that, you know, it's coming from every angle at the moment in terms of the media. But what you're saying really is not just that strategic angle. Look at your business, pounds, shillings and pence today, pennies and pounds.
Yeah, well, they say look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves.
So actually what you're saying is financially, it doesn't make sense to continue what you're doing. Look to a new strategy and you will be better off financially. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And so if anybody's out there today who doesn't think that what you're saying is correct, really they ought to be giving you a call, because you can educate them. I've listened to you many times with clients on the phone, and I've heard you talk about sustainability, but also educating them. Yeah. And I think we all need educating.
Definitely.
If you think in this way, to change the thought process is an education process.
It is.
So if there was somebody out there today and they had a business and they thought, do you know what? I hear all of the points that Nilofer is saying. Could they pick up the phone and for you to talk to them?
Absolutely. Anytime. There's no issue with that. And I'm very, very proud to say that we work with a wonderful team of people. They're dedicated, they're passionate, and they're the kind of people where they're going to give you some honesty. So if somebody came along and said, you know, maybe I'm a mobile hairdresser and I see 2 clients a day, maybe for them, disposables isn't necessarily a real option, because they're not going to see the financial benefits as somebody who's, say, using 50 or 100 towels a day. It's much harder for them to come on board with it. But when you have other businesses where they have got an actual salon set up, they've got regular clients coming in, I can honestly say it's just a no-brainer. And don't even listen to me, don't believe what I say. Try it. Try it. That's all I will say, because a lot of our customers, they try samples of it and then they come back and buy. And the number of extremely well-known high street salons that we supply, as well as very reputable wholesalers, there's got to be something there. People are not stupid. They're business people. If they were using a product that wasn't working for them, they just wouldn't use it.
So you are working with some real top-end high street brands.
I mean, you know, like I say, the pandemic highlighted the cross-contamination side and everything being hygienic. But, you know, we've been selling disposable towels for nearly 7 years. And some of the well-known salons that we deal with, we've been dealing with for some considerable time. It's not a case that they've only just come on board because of the pandemic. So, if you like, they saw the light quite some time ago. Obviously, the bigger your salon, the bigger the savings. The more salons you have, the more savings that you're going to experience. But you've just got to try it and see for yourself. I'm fairly confident that they will be very happy.
Fantastic. Is there anything that we've left out? Is there anything that you would like to talk about? Anything that you'd like to summarise on?
I don't think so. I think for me, it's just, I mean, I'm obviously very passionate about towels, and I accept that towels isn't ordinarily a topic that excites people, but it's been a business that I've been involved in for such a long time. So I obviously talk very affectionately about it, but I do truly believe, and I really mean I truly believe, that this is an amazing product that everybody can benefit from using.
Fantastic. Well, you heard it here, that another business that can help and educate anyone out there in sustainability. Really, you should be talking to ENKI Towels and Nilofer and the team at that business. Another British Business podcast series from Birmingham at the Steam House. Until next time.